This video is for your office person. AI is coming for their job. Phone calls, emails, texts, automations. These jobs will change forever. In this video, I will show them how the best admin teams will adapt and win in this new era. I have over 80 office team members working with me at Augusta Lawn Care's Command Center. I will show you what is working and how to stay relevant in a world of AI. This is real talk. I'm just talking straight to you that are working in home service businesses in the office. If you've been worried about AI and you've seen all the news about it's taking your job and it's going to answer all phone calls and there's no reason to have a call center or an office person, if you are mediocre, you should be worried because AI can easily outperform you. And it can do it for a lot cheaper than what you're getting paid. If you're getting paid a few $1,000s a month to do what you're currently doing, there's a good chance AI can do it for 90% cheaper. Here's the thing. AI doesn't care. It's an algorithm. So if you don't care about your job, about the business, about your team, about the customer, if you don't care, you have no competitive advantage to keep your job. The algorithm is just zeros and ones. That's all. It is unemotional. It will just simply take what the next logical conclusion is. It can't care. It can't empathize. It can't make connection that we as humans crave. So you're like, well, what should I do? If AI is going to take over everything, you should care. That is the ingredient. First off, become valuable using upsells and saving customer churn. If we think about the two most valuable things to any business, it is getting more customers and it is keeping more customers. And the way that you have a huge advantage over AI, whether it be answering a phone call, doing an email, messaging them, all of those things can be done by AI today. And they can be done with relatively good accuracy. But what that AI cannot do is empathize. It cannot thoughtfully think about what to say to a customer based upon their past. It cannot upsell them the same way. I have tested this. AI is able to ask a customer if they'd like a different service. The level of adoption or acceptance of that upsell on a phone call, dramatically lower compared to a human that has built a connection with the customer, empathized with them, and showed thoughtfulness about that customer. This is what AI cannot do. It can upsell. It can to ask a customer why they're leaving. But what it can't do is empathize. And so when a customer's mad on the phone and you just want to hang up, this is your time to shine. This is what AI can't do well, because it just looks at the transcript of what they're saying and then spits out some sort of answer. You, as a human, being able to empathize with the other human on the other side of the phone allows you to potentially save a customer. And that is worth hundreds of dollars to your business. And so if you don't care about the business, you're not going to do this. If you don't care for the customer, you're not going to do this. If you don't care about your team, you're not going to do these things. And if you don't care, then your job is at risk. But if you empathize with the customer, and when they're explaining their frustrations, you get in the angry boat with them. You make sure that you're frustrated by the fact that they weren't served well. You make sure that you protect your team. You make sure that the business is protected, and that when customers want to cancel, you want to know why. You try to improve the service of the business. You try to empathize with the customer and realize that they're human on the other side of the phone. Now, when it comes to AI for the phone, or for admin at any level, it's, in my opinion, there's this really weird thing that's happening. And a lot of times we hear tech founders talking about AI, they're talking about how they got rid of this whole call center and they got rid of all these office people doing text and chat, for example. And a lot of times when I peel back the ones that are successful doing that, it is for physical products or software. Software feels, by definition, somewhat inhuman. I'm not looking at someone's face. I'm not talking to anyone if I'm using a piece of software, like Facebook, for example. If I call Facebook and I get an AI agent talking to me, or I get chat support, it's pretty normal. I feel like that's okay. When it comes to home services, it's different. It's not like I'm buying something off of Amazon where a delivery driver is going to walk up the driveway, step up my stairs, and drop the package, and then go back and go right back to the curb and hop in their truck. Just imagine if that same delivery driver walked on your lawn, walked around the backyard, walked over next to your AC and your HVAC system, and then came back out. You would immediately be on high alert. You would immediately be like, what's going on? If you had like a Ring camera or you're watching them, you'd be like, what is going on? All of a sudden this delivery driver's out in the back. Like, what is happening? The reason is because it's very safe for people to stay on your driveway and your walkways. As soon as someone does either in your house or on your property outside of those public areas, immediately there's a level of trust that's required. And this is why, in my opinion, home services is actually going to be less AI adoptive compared to other industries because it is a personal connection. I'm having someone inside of my house. I'm having someone unlock my gate and go into my backyard. These are fundamentally things that require trust, and no one right now is trusting AI. No one is trusting the software that is managing the AI and the database centers and all the things that we have been somewhat politicized and divided on around, like, is this even a good thing? And so if we don't have trust for the technology, we aren't going to want that business to be working inside of our house or on our property. And this is why I actually believe this is a huge advantage for us inside the office of home services, to build that deeper trust, to be able to build that proximity with the customer where we're gonna have a one-on-one connection with them. Most delivery drivers you don't talk to. Most people that are chatting with you on support on some software, you're not gonna ever talk to them in person. That's different when it comes to home services. It is likely that you in the office are the only person the client might ever talk to, especially if you're an outdoor service. If you're doing things on the roof, on a fence, on the yard, on the lawn, these are all services that you don't need the customer home. You don't need to go inside, but they need to trust that when you're on their property, you're gonna respect it, you're gonna make them look good in front of their neighbors, and there's gotta be a level of trust, but you might be the only human being they talk to, you in the office. And so your standards, your level of care is actually what they will judge the entire business on, because they're talking to the one human in their entire exchange with your business. And if you do a property cleanup, you stain a fence, you do a pressure washing, you clean out the gutters, there's a high likelihood they'll never even talk to the technicians, let alone see them while they're on the property. In my opinion, AI has raised the floor of what good service looks like. It'll take the jobs of low performers. It'll take the jobs of people who don't care about their team, the customer, or the business. And it will make the top admin teams more productive and more efficient. Because what the best team members are going to do in home services in the office is they're going to allow AI to make them more productive, more efficient, and turn admin from a defensive motion to an offensive motion. In the past, you were defensive. You were a cost to the business. And if you are a cost to the business, it's the first people to get cut. And so if your business is going to go into a hard time, there's an economic recession, you lose a big customer, guess who the first person they're gonna cut? It is the admin person. Traditionally. Why? Because the defensive measure, it's a cost to the business. They don't think of you as required to get more customers, so you get cut when revenue drops. I want you to turn that around and use AI to empower yourself to actually care for the customer. Be the thing that when they pick up the phone and you answer it, there's a human on the other side that empathizes, that cares about them and their problems and their property and their family. If you do that, no longer are you an expense. You're an offensive measure that can upsell customers. You can save customers from leaving or churning. When they're mad, you're able to de-escalate them. You're able to figure out where can we improve as a business to reduce this churn in the long term. And so knowing how to use software is not enough. You're like, well, they trained me in the first few days. I was able to figure out how to send an estimate and send out a quote and do dispatching. That's fine. Learning how to use the software. That's not enough. AI does that for cheaper. And as agentic AI becomes more and more popular in the next 12 to 24 months, and more importantly, cheaper, it's going to wipe out the person that just knows how to click around buttons. Because AI does that and does it for a lot cheaper. If you're answering the phone within 2 rings and you're super proud about that, that's not enough anymore. AI does that. What is this doing? It's raising the floor of what good service looks like. Because AI can answer the phone immediately and do it cheaper, 24/7. Being fast and efficient isn't even enough now, because AI does it for cheaper. So you're like, well, why have humans? Because care for the customer will help you solve more of their problems. Care for the customer will empathize with their frustrations and join them in the anger boat. Care that you have for the team will make sure that you plan their day efficiently. They don't have stops all over the place, and they have an optimized route. They're set up for success with a checklist of things that need to go on their truck for the day. Care for the business will push you to save at-risk clients from canceling. And so instead of you thinking to yourself, well, I'm a cost answering the phone, why not think about every time that phone rings, if it's a new customer, I'm trying to sell them a second service. If it's a customer that's calling in to make a payment, I'm offering them a different service that they've never tried with us before. If it's a customer calling in to cancel, I give them a promotion to be able to try to get them 1 more month of service before they pause for the end of the season. These are offensive measures that you can do that dramatically change the business and turn you from a cost center to a profit center. If every time you picked up the phone for a random service complaint or a random, I need to pay my invoice, or hey, I'm interested in one service, if you were able to double that and get them on a second service, you were able to get them into increasing the amount of recurring visits that they have. So go from bi-weekly to weekly, to be able to go from quarterly to monthly, to be able to put them on an annual contract, to sell them a package of extra treatments. If you're able to do that, that adds value to the business. And AI can't empathize with the customer. It doesn't care. It's an algorithm. And there is very little human connection that's made from that software. That is what AI can't do. It cannot care. Now, if you want to watch this video right here, I interviewed my vice president of Command Center who manages 80+ Office team members every day, and we talk more about the systems we use to make it profitable.